He has convictions in May of 2019, May of 2023. He had the offense, which is now a conviction, in November of 2025 in Lebanon Municipal Court that occurred days after being arraigned, in this case, in the lower court, where he was given no bond and was walked in on the warrant. A bond was not set, and days later he committed the offense that was charged out of Lebanon Municipal Court. His record shows that he had been off probation just over 2 weeks out of the Brown County case when he committed this offense. I think the statements made in the pre-sentence investigation show a complete lack of accountability on his part, taking responsibility for his conduct. And based on all of that, the state would be asking for the maximum period of incarceration. The court is not required to impose community control in this case, and I believe the defendant's history shows that he is not amenable or appropriate for community control. Additionally, if the court were to find that community control is appropriate, we would ask that he have a no contact order with the South Lebanon Starbucks so that the victim can go to work and have some peace of mind. Additionally, in further looking at the jail time credit, I believe he is entitled to 4 days of jail time credit in this case. He walked in on the warrant and was given no bond. No bond was set in the Warren County Court, and he was never taken into custody. He was arrested on November 2nd for the Lebanon Municipal Court case. At his arraignment on November 21st, in the Common Pleas Court after indictment, he was issued a cash bond out of this case, which he then posted and was released on monitor on November 25th. And so he was not held on any bond related to this incident until November 21st of 2025.
All right, thank you. Anything from probation?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Ernst?
Yes, Your Honor, I appreciate that. So I've been in pretty constant contact with Stefan since this happened. He did do jail time, whether there's credit or wherever it happened. It did create within him a change, Your Honor, and it's kind of as follows. If you recall, in this case, we did ask to modify his release to allow him to go to work. He is employed at PAX here in town, and he got with child support. He has a 7-year-old son that he's current on child support. They have worked with him to allow him to become employed, and he's current there. Some things that adversely affected him during this time, and particularly during the time he was incarcerated. Up till now, he's not been able to see his 7-year-old son, and his mother of his child is not against him. She's not filed anything. He has been without now for 4 months. The ability to participate in the sports that he was doing before this happened. He's become involved as he's able to with Faith Building Church here up by the Y. He's really stressed to me a need to further that with being able to go to church to develop the community. He's researched these things. He has, throughout this event and what's happened here, there has been a change that he has stressed repeatedly. He will engage in counseling. Those 4 things, I think, are something that's different than what's happened to him before, where he has made a decision in his mind that he needs to address this and will follow any recommendations you make. This has had a deprivation of his ability to help raise his son. That hurts. We respect everything that's been said to you today. I think his reaction right now is that he's sorry for what's happened. He'll tell you. But he has made some changes, and he's tried to be as responsible as he could with these other things that he realizes he's jeopardized right now. Therefore, we're hoping you'll give him a chance to show you that he can address this. And I believe he supports me in what I just told you. Is that right, Stefan?
Yes, sir. Mr. Scott, is there anything you'd like to say before I pronounce sentence?
I just would like to say I'm sorry. I've been trying to change. I haven't been able to go back to church, and I think that I just been every night I think about this. It's always on my mind. I know the pain that I caused. I just want to make it right. And I'm so sorry.
The court has considered, anything else? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I don't want to continue to live a life of sin. I'm better than that. I know I am. I haven't seen my son in 4 months, but the consequences of my actions. I just want to make things right and be there for my son. I just don't want to let any more people down.
The court has considered the statements made here today, the pre-sentence investigation, the purposes and the principles of sentencing, the relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. Mr. Scott, I read the statement that you gave during your pre-sentence investigation. Do you want to explain that to me?
I'm sorry, sir.
The written statement that you provided to court services during your pre-sentence investigation. I want you to reconcile that, what you said in that statement to me, to what you're saying now.
Yes, sir. I have a bad case of eczema. I'm not blaming it on eczema. It was my actions. I took the food and I immediately left. I was embarrassed. My face was plastered all over Facebook and Instagram.
Again, I don't understand what the eczema has that you've been caught. I just wonder how many times that you've done it and the person was too embarrassed to even come forward to. The person that you claim to be now standing before me, you need to reconcile that to me because right now my mind's going, well, this is the fourth time you've been caught. I'm guessing you've done it, people that drive drunk and get caught, and that's not the first time they did it. It's the first time they get caught. People stealing. It's never, you don't get caught every time you do something. So you try to reconcile with what the person that you're trying to represent to me today, reconcile that with the person that is in this report.
I'm trying to understand, like, what are you trying to...
Well, you're trying to represent yourself that, that, hey, it's a wake-up call for me.
Okay, I understand.
I got the message, Judge. This will never happen again. It was. That's pretty hard to believe.
No, sir, I understand what you're saying, sir.
Okay, now I'm going to give you.
I don't go to jail like that. I don't go to jail at all. When I got locked up for those 24 days, I've seen so many things. I was already a believer, but when I went into jail, the people that surrounded me with, the people that I've seen in church, the famous people that came and talked to us, gave me cards and little things that I could take with me on the outside to keep it together when I'm on the outside. So while I was in there, I formed prayer groups every night. It took a while to do that, but I feel like that was a calling. I feel like that the Lord put me in there to wake me up. That was my wake-up call. He was with me the entire time I was in there. People around me even felt it, and I was trying to, everything we did after we ate or before we ate and before we went to bed, we prayed. I'm focused on God. My wake-up call is God. Lord, I don't want to live a life of sin anymore, going down a path of nowhere. I know I'm better than that. I know what my calling is. I feel His presence, and this isn't. I've always been a believer, but I feel like He's put me in that position to where I can only turn to Him.
Have you ever undergone any type of counseling?
When I was in school as a kid with ADHD, but that's about it. I was talking to the therapist in probation, not a therapist, but the woman who does the packet with me. She's told me about people and solutions that I said I was interested in, because she recommended me to do counseling, and I thought that was a good idea.
And you've engaged in that counseling?
I'm sorry. Yes, online, yes, but I didn't have a job because I didn't have work release, so I'd have to pay for it. But I did do 4 classes online. I talked to people at Talbot House. They said they're willing to take me after my situation.
This has been now almost 6 years since your first conviction. You had one in 2019, one in 2023, and then one since this case started. You got another conviction for the same type of behavior. Why wasn't counseling something that you sought? If you know you have a mental health problem, again, whether that's it is a recognized under the DSM-5 mental health disorder, but why wasn't counseling sought earlier?
I've never had anybody to talk to. When I talked to probation, the woman who talked to me put me in the right direction. I never thought it was something that I needed until I heard it from her, and the things that we talked about the police and how, things in my past. she said, I think you need counseling because this is a recurring thing. And I realize now that I'm at home, I can't walk around without looking out the window. She explained to me these things are not normal. Me, growing up, I always thought it was normal in the environment that I grew up in. Realizing what she has told me, I feel like
You thought this was normal behavior?
No, when I like the things that we talked about, like when I walk around in my house, I have to peek out the window or do things that normal people don't do. And she said that is a cause from certain past trauma. And when she started explaining that to me, I agreed that I do need therapy. I never considered it until we went and dug in my past, is what I was trying to say.
You have health insurance now?
I do, with my job, yes.
That's one of the things we talked about, was getting his insurance reestablished through this company to then get those things set up and have the funds to pay for it.
All right.
Your Honor, I would just, in brief response, I would just note that the Talbert House assessment was completed January 15th of 2026, and the statement he made as a part of his PSI was January 10th of 2026, which were 6 weeks or more after his incarceration, and that don't reference anything that he's talking about here today before the court.
The assessment was separate. I called for the information that she gave me to Talbot House. I never did an assessment. I called.
Oh, you did an assessment?
I did do an assessment, yes, sir, but that was before I had a meeting with her. She basically gave me, hey, you should go over there and talk to this person at this place and get therapy from this person. That's basically what I was saying.
And you did that?
I called, yes, but I can't do anything while I'm on house arrest or doing this case.
Who told you that?
I can't. I can only leave for court privileges and work.
Well, that's certainly not true. If all you had to do was call community corrections and say, hey, I've got a counseling appointment, can I go? And they would say, Mr. Henry, what would they say?
They would say, as soon as you get this verification, you're good to go.
Yeah, that's all it takes is a phone call. Yeah, that's simply not true. Yeah, you know, Mr. Scott, there's nothing that you have said today that convinces me, and again, whether this, I'm not going to get into a discussion as to whether this is a mental health disorder or not. The DSM certainly recognizes it as such, but I don't think you've gotten the message. I mean, you, and again, my mind keeps going back to, and again, the two prior convictions and then getting a conviction while this case was pending. I cannot imagine for the life of me, knowing that you're under indictment on a felony charge for this offense, going out and doing the same thing. I mean, that just completely blows my mind. I'm going to make a finding today, sir, based upon the information I have, that you are not amenable to community control and that prison is now necessary to fulfill the purposes and principles of sentencing, primarily punishment and deterrence. So if you think the 24 days in jail for the Lebanon Municipal Court case got your attention, I think I'm going to get it now. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order you to serve 10 months in prison. The reason I'm not ordering you to serve 12 months, the maximum, is because you did enter a plea and did not make this young lady go through the trauma of having to relive that whole thing in front of 12 strangers. So you're going to serve 10 months in prison. You get credit for the 4 days you served on this case. Even though you served 24 days in jail, the 20 of those days are going to be credited to your Lebanon Municipal Court case. Now, the court does make a finding that the prison is necessary based upon the extensive prior history of this particular offense. Obviously, you haven't responded to any type of sanctions that the court has imposed previously, and that you just continue to engage in the same type of behavior. So that will be the court's finding. You're also subject to a discretionary period of post-release control, which means on your release from prison, the adult parole authority may supervise you for up to 2 years. If you violate those terms of supervision, the adult parole authority can return you to prison for up to 1/2 of this court's original sentence. If your violation is that you commit another felony, you can be returned to prison for 1 year or the period that you have left on post-release control, whichever is longer, and that time would run consecutive to any additional prison time that you get sentenced to. The court does find that you are indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions. Now, there may be opportunities for you to receive up to 1 day per month for participating in any programs that are sponsored by the Department of Corrections. Finally, you have a right to appeal the court's decision if you're sentenced to the 12th District Court of Appeals. If you want to appeal, you must file your notice of appeal within 30 days of today's date. If you can't afford to pay for the transcript or anything necessary for your appeal, that can all be provided to you at no cost. If you cannot afford an attorney, I will provide, or the court will provide one to you at no cost. Ms. Nicholson, is there anything else?
You waived the fines and costs?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Mr. Ernst?
No, Your Honor.
All right, this time, Mr. Scott, your bond is revoked. You are now remanded into the custody of the Warren County Sheriff's Office for transport to the Department of Corrections. This time, there's a couple of deputies standing behind you.
Okay, we call State of Texas versus Tory Morgan. That is you?
Yes, sir.
Present with Mr. Dusler, your attorney, and the state's attorney. All right, you were indicted for the first-degree felony of promoting prostitution involving a child younger than 18 years of age. That is a first-degree felony, carrying with it up to life imprisonment. And the pre-sentence report has been prepared. If the parties had an opportunity to review it, any corrections or changes to it, state
I've reviewed it, no changes, Judge.
and defense. Then it is made a part of the record for all purposes. And this is a cap of 10 years imprisonment. So it's a first-degree felony. You are looking at no less than 5, no more than 10 years confinement in prison. Deferred or unadjudicated probation can be allowed. Is regular probation also an option here in this case? I'm not aware it's not.
I think it is,
I
Judge.
think you can be
let me check.
sentenced up to 10 years in prison, and that could be suspended. And you could be placed on regular probation, but that's a conviction. But we're going to verify if that's an option. I'm looking at this pre-sentence report. How old was the child here?
16, Judge.
16? Okay. That was the child being prostituted by
Yes, sir.
this defendant and another. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Judge, on this situation, let me just first of all say that we're asking for deferred adjudication because she has no criminal history whatsoever. This was a situation where she was, as acknowledged in the pre-sentence report, was personally involved in prostitution and working out of one of these hotels in Belmont where they're well known for prostitution activities. The little girl, the 16-year-old, was there doing the same thing at the same time. As indicated in the report, they met up, and this lady, obviously having more experience in this line of work, was helping her with advertising between the two of them, and they were participating in proceeds from that. The biggest problem was is we had an underage person that was involved in it, and she wasn't aware that she was underage at the time. She person had told Ms. Morgan that she was of legal age, and basically they were just both participating in this illicit activity together. Again, it's not a good thing. It never has been. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the world. She does not have a criminal history. She realizes that it was wrong. She also realizes, as stated in the pre-sentence report, that she would like to get her life together herself, and maybe find something a whole lot better to do in life than this. And I think she's expressed a good deal of remorse about this, with the idea that she wants to clean up herself, as well as showing remorse for what happened here involving this minor child. Again, no criminal history for crimes of any sort, eligible for deferred adjudication probation. We think she's worth an opportunity to give her a shot at doing it. So we're asking for it.
State.
Right, so let me start with going back to the legal question you asked, Judge. This offense under section 4303 is not one of the ones that's listed that the court has any limitations on. It's right in and around other charges that could be, which is why, Your Honor, I'm sure was wanting to make sure. So all your options are open to you as far as this is concerned, Judge. It is a first degree felony, which means that it carries anywhere to 5 to life, as you know, Judge. It's hard to say what's the right thing to do with a scenario like this. It is true that she has no felony court history, but to really hang your hat on that is, in my mind, is a mistake, because she admits to all kinds of criminal conduct that should have been charged. So even, the bottom line is, this is just the first time she got caught. What she's done here is been deliberately ignorant about what somebody's age was, and got a 16-year-old involved in the same criminal conduct, which is why this is an offense. It's why it's a first-degree felony. So when we look at that, the legislature, when they wrote it up, didn't say, well, on first-time offenders, we're always going to do X. You got to look at each situation and consider what is appropriate. To say that this happens at a known place where this occurs, I don't agree with that statement either. Unfortunately, crimes occur in our county, and this is one of them. And when it comes down to when we're going to determine what's the right thing to do, this lady assisted a 16-year-old to post nude photographs of herself online to encourage grown men to come and have sex with her. A child. That's why I wasn't going to offer probation. That's why I made a cap agreement, because I can't in good conscience say that somebody that does that with a teenager, if you don't like the word child, to say that that's okay, and that we're going to say that when that occurs, that the right thing to do is say, oh, well, I didn't know how old she was. And no, I've never been caught before, so let me have probation. Because I'm planning on standing in this courtroom on cases that involve same or similar facts, I want to stay consistent. And to me, this warrants prison time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I've already stated what we feel is appropriate. She doesn't have a criminal history. She was engaged in prostitution, which she shouldn't be, but was not aware this person was underage, and this person also was doing it on her own before the two got involved. It's not like she trafficked her into that business. They were both there engaging in prostitution. They just started working together, which is no excuse, but certainly, in my opinion, does not warrant prison time on a first offense like this. I say give her a shot. I think she's been very forthcoming in her statements about her life, the problems that she's had, and she really wants to clean up her life, as well as quit doing this, not just involving this other person, but involving herself as well. And I think the best way to do it is give her a shot at it. And that's what deferred does. When you're looking at a first degree felony, if she messes up on deferred adjudication, I mean, that's up to anywhere from 5 years to life in prison. So I think that's a pretty big hammer hanging over her head. But I think it's worth a shot, and she's worth a chance at redemption.
Anything you want to say?
If I would have known that girl was not 18, that whole situation would have went completely different.
In what way?
I definitely wouldn't have posted her, and definitely would have took different precautions after I had helped her get her things from.
But you would have continued the prostitution ring going if she was older than a child, right? That's what you were doing. You were running a prostitution ring, weren't you? Oh, you weren't? I'm sorry. You created and posted online advertisements on Skip the Games, a website known for prostitution, advertising both you and the child. You admitted to requesting and posting nude photographs of the child, which were used in the advertisements. Is my probation officer false and misleading me, or is that true?
That is true.
Yeah, you were running a prostitution ring. Thank you for helping the quality of Beaumont get better. This is what this city is supposed to stand for? Prostitution, vice? Well, you were responsible for it. You were the madam. No, there's too many good people in this town and this county. We don't need people like you who just think it should be used for immoral purposes only. That's immoral.
Yes, sir.
No, so you do it anyway. And you acknowledge that you were using this child as a prostitute. You're trying to say, I didn't realize she was younger than 18, so let me go home. No, you stand for immorality and you stand for problems. This isn't what this quality of life in this city and county are supposed to be all about. The leadership around here work too hard, and the people, by and large, are wonderful people. People like you who make money off of immorality and the mistakes and the promotion of children into vice and illegality. You kind of drag down what we're all trying to keep maintained, and that is a quality of life. So people can come to this county and enjoy life in spite of you. You understand, but you continue to do it.
That's not what I want for my life anymore.
It's not what you want. Why? Because you got caught. It wasn't your choice. No, you got caught. This wasn't your choice. Then you're just worried about you. Well, how about the child that you misled and corrupted? Any remorse for that, her soul and her life?
Major.
Yeah, well, you promoted her. You know better.
Judge, it's no excuse, but I think, again, she was very forthcoming about her family history as well. And I think it says a lot, the way she was raised, that she's been in foster care since she was 12 years old herself, because both of her parents were incarcerated. You know, she didn't.
How did that work out for you?
She didn't grow up with very good
how did that
parents.
work out for you?
Not the greatest.
Well, so why would you make life miserable for someone else if you knew that that wasn't the quality of life? All right.
It's not a very good role model. But anyway, again, it's no excuse, but just maybe an explanation of how she got involved in these type of things.
Anything else? Anything from state?
Yeah, Judge, I want to just kind of, I want to point your attention to the PC. Do you have a copy of that?
Stand by.
Here's mine.
Yeah.
And what I want to highlight there is that
You go. I got it.
it, by all appearances, if you consider other versions that were offered, it seems like the 6-year-old was at risk involving somebody else that may have been potentially trafficking her, and she basically jumps out of that grease into this fire, where instead of somebody gets her to help and leads her in the right direction, she then takes away from that bad situation and gives her this situation instead. And that's all from the PC information, Judge. What got the law enforcement's attention was the 2-for-1 special they were running, posted on Skip the Games. So I looked to see if that information was highlighted in the PSI. And it
Where she and the
wasn't.
child would work together.
Yes, sir.
In the
Yes, sir.
sexual act.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nah, I think we feel dirty enough already talking about all of this.
Thank you, Judge.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Ma'am? If not, I'm going to find you have pleaded guilty today voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so to this first-degree felony of promoting prostitution of a child younger than 18. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted here to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this offense. And I am following this agreement. You are, which is a cap of 10 years imprisonment. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 10 years. What is the price? What is right of the loss of innocence of a child? I keep repeating that. That was your fault. That was yours. You made a immoral life for that child by marketing her for sexual purposes and making money off of it. Shame on you. You hurt this city and county. We stand for something of more of a quality of life than that. That is immoral. It's illegal, and it's a child who was being sexually assaulted each time, and you were the madam. You were the person responsible for it. You were the organizer and the manager of it. Shame on you. But shame on anybody who promotes prostitution, especially of a child, because you can't have innocence back with a child when it's taken away. That's not for you. That wasn't for you to be responsible for, but you paid the price, and she's suffering, I'm sure, the harm as a victim of this. But it's all a bad, terrible, immoral structure because it takes people willing to have sex illegally, promoting it, and the prostitution and the people who are involved in taking part in the acts. But this is a child. And you pay a price. Adults pay a price when they harm children on this court's watch. Do you understand what's happened? That is all.
Your Honor, may I ask the court to consider withholding imposition of the sentence and placing her on regular probation?
Yeah, I've considered that. And this is a child who was sexually molested. You organized it. You think that is what that's what this court stands for, is making light out of that? No. When we catch you, you're going to be prosecuted. You're going to be punished to set an example. That's not what Beaumont and Southeast Texas stands for. We stand for quality of life. This isn't a prostitution, a place where prostitution is condoned, especially of children. Shame on you. Shame on you. Can you give back that child's innocence that was taken away that you organized? No. It has a price. It has a value, which our Creator gave. You should never take that away. Shame. But you will pay a price, and anyone in your situation on my watch will. We stand for something better than that in this shame. We're setting good examples as best we can in spite of you. You need to fix your mess.
I wanted to, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's just not you. You're harming others. Children. That's why you're sentenced. That is all. Here, thank you.